What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this one I want to break down what's going on with the overall market and talk about something very important that's going on involving the Israel and Iran situation. But let me first say that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And then don't forget about the Webull link. The offer ends very soon. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. Deposit $25,000 or more, and you're guaranteed 75. So what's happening with the market? Why are we getting this emergency sell-off? What on earth is going on? Something big happened. In my previous videos, I was saying that if the situation between Iran and Israel de escalated, if things began to cool off and ease, the market could have tried to bounce, but instead we didn't really get that. Things are still very tense. We have some big developments. So the US is urging Israel to calm down, to basically restrain itself. And then we're seeing China and Russia doing the same thing to Iran, telling them to calm down. But that's not what's happening so far. So this whole situation, you could argue that this has like hundreds of years of history, thousands of years of history. Others could argue that it started from one place. It doesn't matter where it started, guys. I'm not going to pick any sides. You could believe it's one side or the other. That's completely fine. And you could be right. It doesn't matter. I'm not here to say anything like that. I just want to say this. There was an attack by Israel on Damascus. Not saying that's how all of this started or not. I'm just going to talk about that. Then Iran responded with 300 missiles and drones to basically attack Israel in a retaliation attack because of that initial attack. And then what happened was Israel intercepted and basically blockaded pretty much everything. But now Israel is angry that that happened, and now they're trying to respond to Iran. So that's pretty insane. After Iran sent all those missiles in retaliation to Israel, now Israel is basically trying to weigh in on what they're going to do next. Their war cabinet has voted that yes, they want to respond. That's some very, very big news. Something worth noting. That's why the market started dropping because if this keeps going back and forth, if Israel goes after Iran and Iran keeps going after Israel, back and forth as each are trying to defend their own selves, the issue is this is going to cause a lot of global conflicts. It's going to lead to crude oil going up. It's going to cause inflation to go up here in the US, at least to some extent. It's going to affect the Fed's policies. It's going to affect the lives of everyday people. And worst of all, it's going to affect everyday citizens. So, once again, guys, I'm not picking sides. I'm not saying anything started from anyone. I just want to say that it's very simple. I don't want there to be war. I want peace. I just want everyone to be as safe as possible. But because Israel is weighing in on the possibility of responding to the Iranian retaliation attack, it's not the best of news for the markets. That's part of why the market is selling off right now. SPY is barely holding 505, and this is becoming a lot more intense. Once again, Biden has come out again. He is urging caution as Israel weighs in its response to Iran. They're planning this out. They're trying to be very strategical about it. And the US is telling Israel to not do that. Just, we have to, restrain ourselves. We're seeing other countries saying the same thing to Iran. I hope that there's peace, but as of right now, it's becoming more difficult to get there, and Israel's war cabinet is making their decision. So we'll see how it goes. As of right now, they are deciding that they want to respond, and we'll see if they end up actually doing that because actions speak louder than words. So this is very important. But ever since that news came out, SPY lost this like critical support that we had from Friday, and we ended up just sinking much lower, and we're continuing to fall as I speak. So it's happening because the market's fearful. The market does not like the current situation, and it's going to have a big effect on crude and the overall sentiment right now. So that's why the market's selling off the way it is. When we look at the support right here at this 504, basically this 505 zone. Now, that if we end up losing this entire area, this zone I have right here, we're easily going to be falling to 503. That's going to be our next critical target. If 503 fails us, we're easily going to come all the way down to 500, in my opinion. So SPY does have a lot of risks for downside. We have resistance at 505, and just know that around this 505 zone, we are seeing some buyers trying to defend SPY. That is a critical support, but just be careful and be very, very mindful of the fact that we could continue to sink. We also have resistance at 507, 508.5, and then 510. Our support's at 505. If we lose this, watch for 503, then 500. The chart is looking more bearish. There is a risk of it dipping even more. And this is because of the current situation. It's still very tense. We did not see things ease off like I was hoping for, unfortunately. And this is having a big effect on Tesla as well. Tesla's continuing to sell off quite a bit, and we're barely holding 162.5 as critical support. If we lose that, we're going to be sinking all the way down to 160. So be careful. Let's see if Tesla could hold 162. If we lose that, 160 is coming next. If we try to break up. You want to see Tesla try to get back above 165. If we do so, we could try to rebound. But as of right now, it's looking a bit more bearish, and there is a risk of this dipping even more. For the QQQ, this is also continuing to sink. We have support currently at 431 flat, and then we have resistance at 432 and then 434. Overall, we're looking a bit more bearish. Watch 431 if we lose this, watch for 430, followed by 429. With this big drop that has come, we'll have to see how this ends up looking, but we are looking a bit more bearish on the triple Q anyways, and there is a risk of this tipping a bit more. So we'll have to watch and see how it goes. And this isn't looking the best so far. It looks a bit more bearish, so just be very, very careful. For Nvda, this is also contributing. We have support at 862. We have resistance at 872. As of right now, we're kind of falling a little bit. If 862 breaks, we could be continuing to sink to about 853. Nvidia, to me, looks a bit more bearish, a little bit weaker. This could slow things down for the QQQ even more, so just be careful with that. For Aapl stock, we lost our 50 EMA. We're barely holding 172.5. If we lose this, watch 171.5 and then 170. Look at resistance around 174, and then we'll see how it goes. We're looking a bit more bearish. For a few more stocks out there, like Rivian, we're looking a little bit more bearish as well. We've lost 9, and this whole situation is causing it to dip as well. Maybe looking for 8.25 as our next level. As of right now, the chart is looking a little bit more bearish. We're continuing to fall. There's no sign of a bounce yet. SoFi is also falling with all the news. Uh, excuse me. We have 7 as support, and also it's basically very close to the 7 range. We also are trying to hold around 7.15. I do see some risks of this dropping a bit more. AMD is looking bearish. We're barely holding 160. Our next target is 158. Not dropping as hard as other stocks out there, but we could continue to sink a little bit more, be very, very choppy. So it's showing some weakness. Coinbase is also falling quite a bit. We lost 236 critical support. We're barely holding 230. This is the next support below here, 228 to 230. If we lose that, if we lose 228, I think that I'm going to be watching this thing around right about here, this 224 area, followed by 220. This is going to be our next supports. So watch and see if it holds 228 to 230. We're still looking kind of weak. Amazon's also weakening. We're watching to see how well it holds around 183. If we lose the 183 zone, I'm going to be watching 182, then 180. So watch and see if we could hold this 183 zone. We also have resistance at 185. We're still looking kind of bearish overall, though, so be careful. Meta is barely holding support right here at 496 to 498. If we lose that, there's going to be a dip all the way down to about 4. There's basically 494, then 485 coming. If we try to rebound, look for 50. This is what 506 as our resistance. As of right now, it's barely shuffling in the 500 range, but it's looking a bit more bearish. So just be careful. And we're seeing the same thing happening as the VIX is breaking to the upside. VIX is approaching resistance around just under 20, so it's getting very close to 20. Could try to push higher. It's still bullish, but the overall market is still bearish as a result. So SPY is barely holding 505. We'll see if this holds. It's shuffling around that area. We're seeing a lot of weakness in the charts, and with the current situation, the market is still bearish. It's still very weak. So this is once again not what I wanted to see. The situation is still continuing to escalate, and things are still very, very tense. So it's not the best of news. Once again, we're not picking sides, not saying who's right, who's wrong. I'm not going to do anything like that. I just want to say that I want peace. I want no more war. And I hope that we eventually get closer to that. Hope that this warfare eventually stops. Hope that eventually, things improve because everyday people pay the biggest costs. And it's very important to remember that. So we'll see how things go, guys. I'll keep you guys updated. As of right now, the situation is not easing. Things are very tense. Israel's war cabinet has voted to respond, and we'll see how things go from here now. So the market is still bearish. Watch your support. So we'll see how things go. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you, and peace out.